Welcome back to the D6 Family Ministry Podcast. We believe that discipleship should not be difficult, so we're here to help you connect the dots between church and home. Together, let's guide each generation, whether you're related or not, to stand confident in their faith. I'm your host, Ron Hunter, and with me as always is my co-host, Marianne Howard. Welcome back.
Well, we're back, and today's episode is our friend Lydia Randall, and I'm telling you, every word is highlighted. Okay, I've got a question for you. If you could go back, Ron, and give one piece of parenting advice to yourself when you first started this journey of helping families, what would it be?
Man, I would speak to me. I wouldn't speak to anybody else. I would speak to me. And you know, I think at times I accelerated our daughter a little faster than she might have been ready for based on her identity. And I would have slowed that pace down and say, hey, it's okay, slow it down, nurture her identity differently. And there was just some areas that she was excelling at and doing well, and we just kind of like let that usher forward, but it didn't play out in the social peer roles the way the academic roles were playing out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I would say, hey, Ron, slow down a little bit in this and pay attention to the bigger picture. Yeah. It's a tough thing on parenting. You know, you look back and you second guess a whole lot in there.
But the good thing is God is faithful, and he shows up in our parenting and in our kids. But I will say, we've got to be intentional. And so on that note, I would love to encourage our listeners, listen to this short clip. Speaking of intentionality, let's hear what Lydia mic drops on us in this short clip.
We have great intentions, but if we don't have a plan, we don't follow through on it.
So good. Oftentimes, parents, they feel under-equipped to lead their child's spiritual development. And that's one of the things that Lydia equips us with in this episode. So listeners, I would just like for you to lean in. If you're leading parents, ministering to parents, or if you are a parent, lean into this one. Listen to this episode, and you're gonna come out of this episode feeling so equipped.
Whether you're a mom who longs to talk to your kids about Jesus, but you just don't know where or how to start, or maybe you're a church leader or a volunteer who wants to teach the families within your church to take their faith personally, or maybe you're someone who wants to see the church flourish in these challenging times, the D6 Conference has the tools for you. Coming to Orlando and Seattle in 2025 with over 50 breakout sessions and presentations from Christian thought leaders will give you a chance to walk away with fresh ideas, new perspectives, and a renewed passion for your ministry. At D6, we don't just talk about discipleship. We provide practical tools for you to turn these desires into actions. To register or learn more, follow the link in the description or visit d6conference.com.
Right now, I'm joined by Lydia Randall. Lydia has served for almost 3 decades through her work with Lake Point Church to help families and churches create a culture of intentionality in the home. She is the author of My Faith Box and the creator of Faith Path. She is also the content creator for Home Point Inc. Lydia and her husband have also served as the chaplains for the Texas Rangers for 10 years. Lydia, thanks for coming back again.
Absolutely. It's a joy to be back.
So I got to ask you first, have you been sized for your World Series ring yet?
Oh, you know what? They're working on it. I wish that we were. That is not something that is in the contract for us.
Okay, so you're not getting all the diamons. You haven't picked out.
No. Maybe like a little plastic gumball machine, but no, we didn't get in on that one.
Well, congratulations, though. I know you've been the power behind that team.
Oh yes, it was because of us, our prayers, lots and lots of prayers. God heard them.
But very cool to be a part of that. Just very cool to see.
Awesome.
Well, today we are talking about Faith Path and helping parents pass faith one step at a time. To start us off, can you tell us a little bit about what Faith Path is and what it does?
So basically, Faith Path is a birth-driven strategy to help churches so that they can help parents be intentional in guiding their child's spiritual journey one step at a time. So it's just discipleship, really, at its core. And so we've created kits for each one of those that focus on spiritual disciplines, on milestones that are coming up in a child's journey, so that parents can be intentional in discipling their kids.
That's really cool. Well, as a parent, it's very easy to jump ahead in our thinking. I know I do that. I have a 5-year-old, but I'm already thinking about, okay, what's it going to be like in middle school, high school, college? Is he going to go through a rebellious phase? What do I need to be doing? I'm freaking out, already thinking I can't afford college and things like that. And yet, some of our kids are still in diapers and we're freaking out. Some of our kids, like mine, they're in preschool. From a spiritual aspect, why is it so important to think in terms of one step at a time?
I think that makes me think of Matthew 6, of do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow has enough worries of its own. But honestly, I think that Satan wants us to worry about tomorrow so that we miss out on today. And I think that is really, if he can get us worried about tomorrow, then we aren't intentional about our today. And I believe that if God has called you to something, he will equip you for it. But if I have a 4-year-old, he has called me and equipped me for a 4-year-old. He has not yet equipped me nor called me for a teenager. And so to lay that down, to just be obedient and to be faithful in today, knowing that I can, and those worries are going to come. I mean, that's just normal. We live in a fallen world, and so we are going to worry. But to take those thoughts captive and to go, I'm going to be intentional today. And that's all he's called me to do, and that's all he's equipped me to do today.
Well, I'm going to ask this for me. I don't know if anybody else listening needs to hear this, but how can I better live in the moment spiritually? Because I know that scripture and I want to believe that scripture and I know it in my head, but my heart still is leaping ahead to worrying about everything coming up. He's going to be entering kindergarten soon. I'm thinking he's going to a new school. How in the world is this going to happen? How can I better live in the moment and not jump ahead, especially from a spiritual sense?
I find for myself, I have to catch myself. I think when I start down that tailspin of, at first I'm worried about this, and then all of a sudden he's in jail, and, how are we going to get the bond to get him out? You go into this, and that's what Satan feeds on, that fear. He gets a foothold, and he feeds on it. And so by being more aware, I know it sounds simple, but by praying, God help me be aware when I start trying to control and hold on and worry about these things. And really that's the core of it. When I'm trying to be in control of it and not giving it to God and trusting that he is capable, reminding myself that he cares more about my kids than I do, and he has a perfect plan for them. But it's catching myself. It's being intentional to say, I know I tend to worry. And so I've had to pray, God, when I start to worry, would you remind me of your faithfulness? Would you remind me how good you are and that you have gone before my kids and that you're going to help me walk alongside them, because they're going to fall. They're going to mess up, but give me the wisdom to help them walk through that well.
That sounds to me like you're kind of saying it's a day-by-day thing, or even maybe an hour-by-hour thing.
Yes, minute by minute, often.
Yeah. Well, so many of our milestones today are performance-based. Reading, writing, we have testing in schools. How is the faith path approach different to that?
So I think the biggest thing is it's not a one and done. It's not a pass or fail, okay, you did it, and it's done. It's discipleship at its core, and it really is building a firm foundation of faith. It's creating holy habits. It's discipleship, where you're teaching the things for our kids to grow in their knowledge and their faith journey. And so it's not going to be a one-time thing. It's going to be something that is an everyday thing. It's something that they're continually doing throughout their whole life. And we are still too. We're still growing in our relationship. And so as we're doing that, we're modeling it and they're seeing it. And so it's just it's a journey.
And I like how you just put that we're still on that too. Because I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking in terms of my child, kind of forgetting that I am still on this path too. And I am growing as well. And so I like how you put that, because I have to remind myself of that very often, that I'm not a finished product either. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I have more questions about this and just this practicality of how we pass our faith onto our children one step at a time. We'll be right back.
Are you ready for the families in your church to shift from a culture of passivity to a culture of intentional faith at home? Getting parents to take their role as the primary disciple makers of their children can feel impossible, but D6 Home Point is here to help. The D6 Home Point Church Resource Center provides practical, relevant tools for families at every life stage, making intentionality a breeze. Our customizable resource center is easy to use and flexible for churches of any size. Ready for the families in your church to start taking at-home discipleship seriously? Use D6 Home Point. To learn more, visit d6homepoint.com or follow the link in the description.
We're back, and we're talking to Lydia Randall about Faith Path and how we can help parents pass faith one step at a time. Now, I know that you've discussed a simple strategy to show parents how to prepare for each step of their child's life. Can you explain that strategy a little bit?
So basically, we've gone from birth to age 18, and we've designated different steps along the way that's age-related, appropriate, where they're really growing developmentally. And we have given just resources and tools focused really on specific spiritual disciplines. That's hard to say, specific spiritual disciplines, and preparing for milestones. So it really is, it's the things that we want to teach our kids. And we know, like, oh, I really want my child to have a thriving just prayer life, that they would love to talk with God, that they would know He is there for them and He is with them all the time, anywhere. But all of a sudden they're 14 and it's like, I meant to do that. I'm sure we've talked about it somehow, but it's these intentional things that we go, okay, this is going to be a specific year that we focus on prayer. Just this, it's not that we don't talk about Bible, we don't talk about other spiritual, but this year, that's our focus. That's the one thing that we're really going to drill down on, so that we just go, man, when we get to talk to the God of the universe, it's powerful, it's good, and it's sweet. And we want to model that, and then we want to help them kind of create their own holy habit of prayer. And so each step of the way, we want to give just intentional tools. It's a catalytic system for them to focus on it for a birth year, to say, okay, this birthday, we're celebrating, your 5th birthday or your 8th birthday. This is going to be the year that we're going to focus on this spiritual discipline, or else we don't do it.
Well, we know that discipleship begins in the home, but we also know that church plays a role in supporting the home as well. So what role can ministry leaders play in equipping parents for this journey?
So I think sometimes as ministry leaders, we overcomplicate this. I think a couple of things. I think most of our parents feel overwhelmed. I feel like they feel like if they can just keep kids clean and fed, can the church just take care of the spiritual formation because they know what they're doing? But I also feel like that they feel under-equipped. I feel like they feel insecure maybe in their own personal walk with the Lord or their own spiritual disciplines, that they don't know what to pass because they're still trying to navigate it. And so I think as church leaders, really discipling our people so that they can disciple their kids, really is the basic of it. But I think we've got to hold up that value and not take that from them of, okay, we'll just take care of the spiritual formation of your kids. We'll disciple your kids for you, but to say, hey, it is your job. This is a God-given, beautiful gift that He's given you to disciple your children, but you're not alone. We're going to walk alongside you. We're going to equip you. We're going to help you. As your church, we're here to walk alongside with you.
You mentioned that we overcomplicate it, and that has been a common theme among everyone I have talked to today, that we overcomplicate discipleship so often. Why do you think that's the case? Why do we seem to, are we just intimidated by it and we make it this lofty thing, or what is our reason for making it so complicated when it's really a simple thing that can be done every day?
I think sometimes, and this is just I think sometimes we feel like we have to reinvent the wheel. I think we've got to have this has got to have some pizzazz or something really fancy to it, or look really great and neat. And it's just the simplicity of the gospel and of just falling in love with Jesus and just a beautiful relationship with Him. And so I think sometimes it's just really coming back to the very simple things, and it may not be flashy, but it's beautiful. And I think that's what's gonna stick for our kids.
I like that, because we are about the pizzazz today in our culture, but simple can be life-changing, and that's important.
And I think our kids are hungry for that. I think they kind of see through the other, and I think that when we give them that, I think it's refreshing. I think it seems just refreshing to them.
And as you're saying that, I think about how many times I scroll through Netflix for 20 minutes and can't find anything to watch when there are 5,000 things there to watch. And I finally just say, and I turn it off and read a book, because I'm actually craving something a little deeper and meatier. It may not be as flashy, but it's
authentic.
Deeper.
It's real.
Yeah. Well, as we close, what encouragement can you offer to the parents who feel completely overwhelmed with passing on their faith to their children, but know that they need to do that?
I think the most simple thing is just falling more in love with Jesus every day. Fall more in love with his word every day. Fall more in love with just being in his presence every day. More in love with just in prayer and talking with him. When you fall more in love with him, it just oozes out of you. You can't help but not talk about it, and it just shows. You become more like Jesus, and I think giving yourself some grace too. We're not going to be perfect, but to be present, to show up. That's what our kids need. They don't need us to be perfect. They just need us to be present.
That's really good. Well, listeners, I encourage you to check out Faith Path. Like Lydia said, we can overcomplicate things sometimes, but we need to get simple, and this will help you. This will help you pass on your faith one step at a time. And I like that one step at a time approach. We're not thinking, like you said, we're not already having our kids in prison down the road. We think about today, and then when tomorrow, we think about tomorrow, but there's no need to think about tomorrow today. And I just love how you put that. So thank you so much for what you've created, and thank you for being here today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You know, I've long said that we as parents do not know what to do, and we need some help, some coaching. You know, I think every parent would do anything for their kids, but sometimes they just need to be shown how. Yeah. And Lydia just lays it out, ... You know, A, B, C. And so when I think about what we've just heard from Lydia, we're hearing words like intentionality, systems, routines, plans. And by the way, the word disciplines comes to that very foundation of discipleship.
Yeah, and she said this a couple times, that this is discipleship at its core, and how she literally lit me on fire is with the words, we have to make a plan, because when we have a plan for now, today, it's a catalytic system for world change in the future. And I know, I mean, it's just so powerful. Like, it's a catalytic system, like the work you're doing, moms and dads, grandparents, you know, spiritual parents, the work you're doing today, the faith formation that you're thinking about in intentionality today shapes generations. It's not just shaping this small little thing. It's a catalytic system. I mean, really sit with those words as you think about the faith formation and the path that you're laying out for your kids and grandkids. Think about that this week. We hope you'll join us next week, and we're going to hear from Carl Barnhill about a new topic that I'm excited for you to listen to and hear about, is visual media and why visual media matters. And so join us next week. Thank you so much for listening. To learn more, visit d6family.com. We look forward to seeing you next week.